SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello friends, today let us discuss about Indian paintings. India has had a long history of painting. The Hindi word for painting is chitra and in ancient world it was called varnana. So, the Indian school of painting has evolved in time through interchange between different cultures. Let us see what are the Indian school of paintings are. Before that, let us discuss what style, school and movement are. Many scholars have used these terms interchangeably, but there is slight distinction between the three terms. Sometimes the different scholars use different definitions to define these three terms. Let us for our understanding see what each of this word means. First, let us see what style is. Style is a fairly broad term which can refer to several aspects of art. Style can mean the techniques used to create the artwork. Pointillism, for example, is a method of creating a painting by using small dots of color and allowing the color blending to occur within viewers' eyes. Style can refer to the basic philosophy behind the artwork. For example, the art for the people philosophy behind art and craft movement. Style can also refer to the form of expression employed by the artist or the characteristic appearance of artwork. Metaphysical paintings, for example, tend to be of classical architecture is distorted perspective with incongruous object placed around the image, space and an absence of people. Now, let us see what the second term school means. A school is a group of artists who follow the same style, share the same teachers or have the same aim. They are typically linked to a single location. For example, during the 16th century, the Venetian school of painting could be differentiated from other schools in Europe, such as the Florentine school. Venetian painting developed from school of Padua and the introduction of oil painting techniques from Netherlands school. The work of Venetian artists such as Bellini family and Titian is characterized by a painterly approach where the form is dedicated by variations in color rather than the use of line and the richness of the colors used. In comparison, the Florentine school, which includes such artists as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo and Raphael, was characterized by a strong preoccupation with line and draughtsmanship. School of art from the Middle Ages until the 18th century are typically named for the region or city around which they are based. The apprenticeship system through which new artists learned the trade ensured that styles of art were continued from masters to apprentice. Now, let us see what is the third term movement mean. A movement is formed by a group of artists who have or share a common style, theme or ideology towards their art. Unlike a school, these artists need not be in the same location or even in communication with each other. Pop art, for example, is a movement which includes the work of David Hockney and Richard Hamilton in the UK and also Royce Lichtenstein, Andy Warhol and Jim Dine in the US. So, what is the difference between a school and a movement? School are generally collection of artists who have grouped together to follow a common vision. For example, in 1948, 7 artists banded together to form the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, that is a school of art. The Brotherhood lasted only as an intimate group for only a few years, after which the leaders went different ways. The legacy of their ideal, however, influenced a large number of painters thereafter. People are often referred to as pre-Raphaelite and art movement. So, now let us see what are the Indian schools of painting. Indian paintings can broadly be divided into two broad categories. One is the mural and other is miniature. These two schools of painting have their own branches. Now, let us see one by one what are the different branches of these two schools. Early literary composition of India such as the Ramayana and Mahabharata, Kalidasa's Shakuntala and Dandin's Dasha Kumar Sarita make many references to art galleries or Chitrasala. So, there has been a practice of having art galleries even from those days. The Shilpa Shastra text of art and architecture deals with the art of murals and miniature painting and also paintings executed on wood and cloth. The most comprehensive text is the Vishnu Dharmatra Purana, which deals with the interdependence of dance, music and the visual arts. It is one of the 18 Upa Puranas. Chapter 35 to 43 describes the methods and ideals of painting, dealing not only with its religious aspect, but also proclaiming the joy that colors and forms and the representation of things seen and imagined produced. So, in Indian ancient texts, there is mention of 6 limbs of painting, that is the 6 good qualities of painting, and they are called Shaddanga. First is the Rupa Bheda, the knowledge of appearance. So, the Shaddanga or 6 limbs of Indian paintings were evolved during the 1st century BC. These are a series of canons laying down the main principles of the art. Vastayana, who lived during the 3rd century AD, explains them in the Kama Sutra, having extracted them from still more ancient texts. So, Vastayana actually explains the 6 qualities, but this he had extracted from texts which are much more older than his time, that is 3rd century AD. These texts are much more older than 3rd century AD. So, the first quality, as I said, is Rupa Bheda, the knowledge of appearance. Second is Pramanam, that is correct perception, measure and structure. Third is Bhava, action of feelings or forms. Lavanya Yojanam, infusion of grace, artistic representation. Sadrisam, that is similitude. Varnika Bhaga, that is artistic manner of using the brush and color. So, a very ancient text in India have mentioned the 6 qualities, that is the process or the qualities associated with art. The subsequent development of painting by the Buddhists indicates that these 6 limbs were put into practice by Indian artists and are the basic principles of which the art was founded. The 6 limbs were the basis of Indian art of painting. As I mentioned to you that Vishnu Dharmatra Purana is one of the ancient texts which mentions exclusively about paintings, and this Purana contains narrative that deals with cosmology, cosmogony, geography, astronomy, astrology, division of time, pacification of unfavorable planets and stars, genealogies, etc. It also deals with laws and politics, war strategies, treatment of disease of human beings and animals, cuisine, grammar, metrics, lexicography, rhetoric, dramaturgy, dance, vocal and instrumental music and art. It is considered as a supplement or appendix to the Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Dharmottara lists these 6 points. These are the 6 strength of painting as the Vishnu Dharmottara Purana points out. Proper position is first, proportion and spacing, gracefulness and articulation, resemblance, decrease and increase of force lightning. These are the strength of the paintings. Same way it also mentions defects in painting. So, what can make a painting defective? It mentions that weakness or thickness of delineation, want of articulation, improper juxtaposition of colors. This can make the painting defective. It would not be very appealing to the viewers. The text says painting which has not proper position, devoid of appropriation, rasa, empty to look at, hazy with darkness and devoid of life movement, that is chetna, is said to be inexpressive. So, I am paraphrasing from the text actually. One of that seem as if dancing by its posture or appears to look frightened, laughing or graceful, thereby appears as if endowed with life, as if breathing. These pictures are considered of as auspicious type. A painter should make his painting to be without darkness and emptiness. No painting depicting a figure with defective limbs covered all over with hair, overwhelmed with fear due to internal disease or smeared with yellow pigment ought to be executed. So, it also mentions gives you a prescription of what the artwork should look like and what it should not look like. An intelligent artist paints what looks probable, but never what transcends it. A painting by the skilled, the righteous and those who are versed in Shastra brings on prosperity and removes adversity very soon. A painting cleanses and curbs anxiety, augments future good, causes unequaled and pure delight, kills the evil of bad dreams and pleases the household deity. The place where a picture is firmly placed does not look empty. So, it also tells that the good qualities of painting, if you place it in a definite position in your house, it has the ability to remove evil forces from your house and it brings good luck to you. So, these are the things that has been mentioned in Vishnu Dharmottara. So, there is another text the Markandeya Purana, which also talks about paintings. These are some of the oldest texts I am mentioning which talks about painting at a very early time of Indian history. So, Markandeya Purana points out four qualities which should be there in a painting. First is a true to life, that it should be true to life, it should be a good representative of life itself. So, Markandeya Purana is one of the 18 major Puranas of Hinduism. So, second point that it points out is of the lute player, that is Vainika, it calls it Vainika. Third point is of the city or of common man, Nagara, and the last one is the mixture of all the above three. So, four kinds of painting are pointed out according to Markandeya Purana. According to Purana, whatever painting bears a resemblance to this earth with proper proportion, tall in height, with a nice body, rounded and beautiful is called true to life. That is called Vainika, which is rich in the display of posture, is called Vainika, maintaining strict proportions, placed in exactly square field, not phlegmatic, not very long and well finished. That painting should be called a Nagara, which is round with firm and well developed limbs with scanty garlands and ornaments. The Mishra derives its name from the mixture of all the three of the above. So, this is another paraphrasing I have done. The text says that a painting which is which has the mentioned qualities will qualify as either Satya, Vainika, Nagara or Mishra. In the later text, we have in the beginning we have seen that there were 6 limbs of painting that were mentioned. In later text, in later Hindu text, there are 8 limbs mentioned. This is mentioned in the Samara Gana Sutra Dhara. This is another Hindu text written in Sanskrit language. It is an encyclopedia work on classical Indian architecture or Vastu Shastra, written by Parama King Bhoja of Dhar, who lived during 1000 to 1055 AD. In 82 chapters, subjects treated are town planning, house architecture, temple architecture and sculpture art, together with mudras, the different hand poses and the poses of the body as well as the posture of legs, the canons of paintings, and a chapter on the art of mechanical contrivance, the yantra. It also includes a chapter about the decoration of palaces, which describes the construction of mechanical contrivances, including mechanical bees and bird, fountain shaped like humans and animals, and male and female dolls that refilled oil lamp, dance played instruments and reenacted scenes from Hindu mythology. It says that there should be 8 limbs in a painting, that is Bhumi Bandhananam, preparation of the surface. When you start a painting, there should be a first the surface of the where you are going to draw should be prepared first. Vartika, this is crayon work, Rekha Karmai, the outline work, Lekham, Features of the face, then Varna Karma, coloring, Vartanakrama, relief of by shading, Lekha Karanam, that is correction, and Dveka Karma, that is final outline. So, it mentions that there are 8 limbs in a painting, starting from preparation of the surface where you are starting to paint. So, as I mentioned that Indian school of painting can broadly be divided into 2, one is the mural and other is the miniature. So, mural painting also has this many different branches which developed in different period of history, and each of them has its own unique styles, unique flavors. So, let us discuss one by one. A mural is any piece of artwork painted or applied directly on a wall, ceiling or other permanent surface. A distinguishing characteristic of mural painting is that the architectural elements of the given space are harmoniously incorporated into the picture. So, there is seamlessness in the surface, it blends well with the architecture of this place. So, that one of the characteristics of mural is this. The story of Indian mural painting starts in the 2nd century BC. So, it is very old. There are several locations around India, the best known being Ajanta and Ellora in Maharashtra, Bagh in Madhya Pradesh, and Panamalai and Sittanavasal in Tamil Nadu, all of them either natural caves or rock cut chambers. The paintings have both religious and other themes. The Ajanta cave consists of 30 rock cut Buddhist chaityas and viharas which date from 2nd century BC to the 7th century BC and include paintings and sculptures described as the finest surviving examples of Indian art, particularly painting. With depiction of the Buddha and Jataka tales, the Ajanta caves are a UNESCO World Heritage. So, the Ajanta caves have the paintings in the Ajanta caves have been recognized by UNESCO as the World Heritage. Like other ancient Buddhist monasteries, Ajanta was also a center of learning. So, let us see what were the first what was the first period painting looked like. So, these are the description of the paintings that we find in Ajanta. Caves 9, 10, 12, 13 and 15A make up the earliest group of caves built between 100 BC and 100 EC, probably under the patronage of Satavahana, who ruled the region. Cave 9 and 10 are Chaitanya Hall with stupa, while caves 12 and 13 and 15A are viharas. So, these are some of the examples. This is a cave in Sittanavasan in Tamil Nadu. Cave of the 2nd or Vartaka period. The second phase began in the 15th century and is often called the Mahayana phase. Cave of the 2nd period are 1 to 8, 11, 14, 9. Some may be earlier caves extended or remodeled. Cave 19, 26 and 29 are Chaitanya halls. These are the descriptions of the caves found in Ajanta and Ellora, while the rest are viharas. Many of them are a sanctum in the rear. In the caves of the 2nd period, the overwhelming majority of images represent the Buddha alone or scenes of his previous lives as well. This is one such example. 4 of the later caves have large and relatively well preserved mural painting which have come to represent Indian mural painting to the non-specialist. Now, let us see what are the Bagh caves look like. Similar to Ajanta's, beautiful frescoes were found in Bagh caves 150 kilometers north of Ajanta. This paintings depict some aspects of Buddhist life and ritual besides scenes from ordinary life. One of the most famous painting depicts a procession of elephants which while another depicts a dancer and women musician. The influence of Ajanta is very apparent in Bagh. Next is the Badami. Very little survives in the 6th century Western Chalukya cave temples, but the stamp of Ajanta remains unmistakable. Pallava. The Pallava were great patrons of art. Mahendra Varman I, who lived in the 7th century EC, was known as just Chitrakara Puli or tiger among painters. A small shrine to the north has a small section of mural painting of an exquisite female figure, her leg bent, standing against a wall and with an umbrella above her. Next is a Pandya. So, this is one example of that. Sitana Vasala in Pudukkottai district in the location of Jain monastery of the 7th century. Its walls and ceilings have painted and mineral colors, fresco technique. The themes include a beautiful lotus pond and flowers, people collecting lotus from the pond, dancing figures, lilies, fish, etc. Next is the Chola period murals. The Chola frescoes are discovered within the corridors of Tanjavur temple. The walls on either side of the narrow and dark passage of the inner Vimana above the Sanctum Sanctoria were painted between 1008 to 1012 EC. The paintings celebrate Lord Shiva. Next is the Vijayanagara murals. There is a wealth of Vijayanagara painting all over South India, but the best example are to be seen in the Virabhadra temple at Lipakshi, on the ceilings of the Virupaksha temple at Hampi and Rangatha Swami temple of Srirangam, and on the walls of Varada Raja temple of Kanchipuram. The last is the Nayaka painting. After the fall of Vijayanagara empire in 1565, the Nayaka ruled from the 16th to the 18th century and left behind a prolific collection of murals and wall paintings, whose best example is the painted ceiling in the Tiruvarur temple in Tamil Nadu, depicting the story of Muchukunda, a legendary Chola king. So, this is a brief description of the mural school of Indian painting. So, to sum up, let us see what are the uniqueness of each of the mural painting school of India. Agenda painting, the themes of most of these paintings revolve around the life and teaching of Lord Buddha. This includes the Jataka stories related to the various lives and incarnation of Buddha. The Ellora paintings, the rock painting of Ellora were painted in two different series. The first series, which was done when the caves were curved, revolved around Lord Vishnu and Goddess Lakshmi. The second series, painted centuries later, illustrate processions of Shaiva holy men, Apsara, etc. It also included Jataka tales and Jain text. The bark painting, paintings are both secular and religious. Buddhism is main inspiration. Painting style is influenced by Ajanta. Sittana Vasal painting, the themes of this painting include animals, fish, dark people collecting lotus from a pond, two dancing figures, etc. Apart from that, one can also find inscriptions dating back to the 9th and 10th century. Jainism is main inspiration. Badami painting, patronized by Chalukyas, it was inspired by Vaishnavism. Painting in this cave depict palace scenes. Pandya painting, Jain text, female figures, etc. Pallava paintings, beautiful lotus pond and flowers, dancing figures, lilies, fish, geese, buffaloes and elephants. Chola painting, the painting celebrate Lord Shiva. Vijayanagar painting, the painting about the life and times of Vijayanagar court. And the last is the Nayaka painting, depicting the story of Muchukunda, a legendary Chola king. So, these are the different mural paintings school of India. Now, let us go to the second broad school, that is the miniature painting. Like the mural, the miniature painting also has different branches, different schools. So, let us see them one by one. First is the Pala, which is thought to be the oldest of all. It belongs to the late 8th and mid 9th century of the Pala period in eastern India. This is one example. They are representation of Buddhist. So, before that I should also tell you what miniature paintings are. Miniature paintings are a process of depicting a large landscape or a large area in a small space. It is like putting a large landscape or a wide range of things in a smaller painting space with smaller scales. So, this is miniature painting. So, as I told you, Pala school was the first one. They are representation of Buddhist yantras, graphic symbols which were usually aid to the mantras and the dharanis. The Buddhist miniature portrays Buddhist deities with who, as the mother of all the Buddhas, was the personification of esoteric knowledge. The Buddhist paintings were drawn in red and white, forming color planes. The inspiration came from the mental image, giving an illusion of relief. The Buddhist monasteries of Nalanda Vikramshila and Somarupa were great centers of Buddhist learning and art, but the Pala art came to a sudden end after the destruction of the Buddhist monasteries at the hands of Muslim invaders in the first half of the 13th century. Some of the monks and artists escaped and fled to Nepal, which helped in reinforcing the existing art and tradition. So, this is one example of the Pala school. Next is the Jaina. This is one example of the Jaina school of miniature painting. Miniature painting developed in Western India in the 10th century in the state of Gujarat. The paintings are seen in mini books of the Vaishnava and Jain. Subsequent Jain miniatures moved away from flat two-dimensional composition. Image became animated and all convention representation of perspective were no longer in vogue. The human figures was represented in small, simplest and most visible manner. Against the backdrop of rich color stood out thick, boldly drawn figures. The paintings were harmonized with the enclosing script. The ornamentation was increased to result in heavy stylization. The Jain painters preferred three-quarter profiles, displacing one of the eyes to avoid foreshortening, while frontal image had eyes set near the bridge of the nose. The Jain painters gave rise to the Gujarat school, from where it spread further to Rajasthan and Malwa. This evolved into Rajput painting and a subsequent fusion for the Indian Persian styles in Mughal art. The next is the Mughal painting. So, the Mughal school of miniature painting reached its zenith under Akbar and Jahangir. The Ain-e-Akbari shows the importance of the art that had attained during the period. In the beginning of the rule, an atelier of painting was established under the supervision of two Persian masters, Mir Sayyid Ali and Abdul Samad Khan, who were originally employed by his father Humayun. It is synthesis of indigenous Indian art of painting and the Safavid school of Persian painting. The subjects depicted were scenes of warfare, hunting and trials and strength. In Akbar period, there was greater attempt to portray reality as well as distance and horizontal perspective. The Mughal school saw an amalgamation of many influences: landscape details of Far East art, clouds out of Chinese painting, mountains and water of Central Asian painting. It is primarily aristocratic and secular. Akbar and Jahangir encouraged the illustration of epics and histories. Ramayana, Mahabharata, Akbarnama and Hamzanama. Experimentations on rich color schemes and varied expressions happened during this period. Tutinama is the first work of Mughal school. Hamzanama or illustration on cloth more developed and refined than Tutinama, and the Jahangir paintings acquired greater charm, refinement and dignity. After this is the Rajasthani school of miniature painting. They were deeply influenced by the Mughal style of painting, while some deviated from the archetypal style of Mughal miniature. Rajasthani paintings are those works that have been executed in Rajputana from Bikaner to the border of Gujarat and from Jodhpur to Gwalior and Ujjain. The themes of the paintings were mostly religious and love subjects based on Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. Court scenes were depicted as also royal portraits. Bold outlines with bright colors are characteristics of Rajasthani painting. The colors used were extracted from the natural elements like minerals, vegetable precious stones, conch shells, pure gold and silver. The Romance of Padmavati, penned on the poet Malik Muhammad Jaisi, provided a common theme to the Rajput paintings. Illustrations of Mahabharata, the Panchatantra were painted. The Rajput paintings developed individual styles in Bundi, Kota, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kishangarh. Each Rajasthani school of painting has this distinct and unique style while representing the hill, colors and palaces of Rajasthan. The next is the Orissa school of miniature painting. Only a few instances of miniature painting have been found under the school. The exhibits of this style appears to belong to 17th century, and it is quite striking to find that the use of palm leaf was in vogue till in the late 19th century. The series of painting found are mostly about the celebrated theme of Lord Krishna, his Leelas with the Gopinis, Radhas and Gita Govindam. Its richness is in terms of color and its stylization of human figures and trees become a key feature of the miniature painting. A series of illustrations from Gita Govindam painted in the circa 1800 AD showing the two mythological lovers Radha and Krishna with the backdrop of tree reflects the specificity of the region and its indigenous form. The next is the Pahari style of miniature painting. The Pahari region comprises the present state of Himachal Pradesh, some adjoining areas of Punjab and the area of Jammu in the Jammu and Kashmir state and Garhwal in Uttar Pradesh. The states were centers of great artistic activity from the latter half of the 17th century to nearly the middle of 19th century. The important centers of the Pahari school were in Basholi, Jammu, Guler and Kangra. Pahari school was lively and romantic, technically superior with soft tonal shading, exquisitely created backdrop that merged with the theme and attitudes and postures highly evocative of the moods they were to convey. The colors were extracted from minerals, plant sources, conch shells and even by processing precious stones like gold and silver were also used. The last is the Deccan school of miniature painting. Deccani style of miniature painting flourished from the 16th century among the Deccani sultanates in peninsular India. Deccani painting developed at Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Golconda and Hyderabad, the former states that form the region known as Deccan. The style is a sensitive, highly integrated blend of indigenous and foreign art form. In the Bijapur style of painting, there was rich color schemes. The palm trees, animals and men and women all belonged to the Deccani tradition. They were profuse use of gold color. So, these are the descriptions of the two schools which are more prominent in Indian scenes, the murals and the miniature, but there are other schools of paintings also. One is the Tanjore school of painting. Tanjore painting is one of the most popular form of classical South Indian painting. It is the native form of Tanjavur, also known as Tanjore, city of Tamil Nadu. The dense composition, surface richness and vibrant colors of Indian Tanjavur paintings distinguish them from the other styles of paintings. Then there are embellishments of semi-precious stones, pearls and glass pieces that further add to their appeal. The relief work gives them a three-dimensional effect. Tanjore painting of India originated during the 16th century under the reign of the Cholas. Maratha princes, Nayakas, communities of Tanjore and Tirchi and Naidus of Madurai also patronized Indian Tanjavur painting from the 16th to 18th century. Most of these paintings revolve around the themes of Hindu gods and goddesses along with saints. The main figure is always painted at the center of the painting. Since Tanjore painting are mainly done on solid wood plank, they are locally known as Palagai Padam, Palagai meaning wooden plank and Padam meaning picture. Then there is Mysore school of painting. Mysore painting is a form of classical South Indian painting which evolved in the Mysore city of Karnataka during that time. Mysore was under the reign of the Vodiyars and it was under their patronage that this school of painting reached its zenith. Quite similar to the Tanjore painting, Mysore painting of India make use of thinner gold leaves and require much more hard work. The most popular themes of this painting include Hindu gods and goddesses and scenes from Hindu mythology. The grace, beauty and intricacy of Indian Mysore paintings leave the onlookers mesmerized. It was under the rule of Raja Krishna Raja Vodiyar that the popularity of Mysore school of painting reached its highest point. However, after the Raja expired in 1868, the artists started scattering and the school reached the point of total extinction. The year 1875 saw the establishment of Jagan Mohan Palace and Chitrakala school and along with it the revival of the Mysore painting of India. So, along with this with the passage of time other schools of painting also developed. One is the company school of painting. This was after the advent of the British. The 18th and 19th century India witnessed a new genre of painting popularly known as company school of painting developed under the Britishers Colonial rule introduced several new art forms, styles, materials and techniques which were creatively adapted by Indian artists for local patrons and markets in both elite and popular circles. European artists brought with them the idea of realism. This was a belief that artists had to observe carefully and depict faithfully what the eye saw. So, this was a shift in the perspective, that it was to depict the realistic world. European artists also brought with them the techniques of oil painting. Oil painting enabled artists to produce images that looked real. Another tradition of art that became immensely popular in colonial India was portrait painting. Unlike the existing Indian tradition of painting, portraits in miniature colonial portraits were life-size images that looked real, lifelike and real. This new style of painting also served as an ideal means of displaying their lavish lifestyles, wealth and status that the empire generated. There was a third category of imperial art known as the history painting. This tradition sought to dramatize and recreate various episodes of British imperial history and enjoyed great prestige and popularity during the 18th and 19th centuries. So, the Britishers brought along their techniques of art as well, and a shift from what before the advent of the British, the portraits used to be in miniature scale, in miniature style, but after the advent of the British, the portrait used to be life size. So, this was a shift that happened. Then came the modern school of painting. The essential characteristics of modern or contemporary art are a certain freedom from invention, the acceptance of an eclectic approach which has placed artistic expression in the internalization perspective as against the original. A positive elevation of techniques which then became both proliferous and supreme, and the emergence of the artist as a distinct individual. So, with the advent of the modern school of painting, the paintings became had an international appeal rather than depicting only what was regional. So, the paintings became to be transcend the regional barriers. Oil paintings of Raja Ravi Varman of Travancore depicting mythological and social theme became highly popular in this time. He provided a vital link between the traditional art and the contemporary art. Rabindranath Tagore, E.B. Havell and Anand Kehtish Kumaraswamy played an important role in the emergence of the Bengal school of art. The Bengal school had a great flowering in Shanti Niketan, where Rabindranath Tagore set up the Kala Bhavan. So, these are some of the progression that happened in history in the sphere of Indian paintings. So, these are some of the reference that I have used to for this class. So, friends, today we have seen the different schools of paintings of India which had evolved since history. In the next class, what I want to tell you is about the regional style of painting as against this classical, which we might call them as classical style of painting. So, we have the regional style of painting and which also form the folk painting. So, from next class we will discuss the folk paintings more systematically. Thank you.